Shalom. I want to start off by giving all glory, praises, and honor to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem Akakodash. Double honor to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. And salutations to the brothers that's teaching the truth and sincerity. And shalom to the hopeful elect, the 1/3, sincere listeners. All right, today's lesson is going to be titled The Persians Know Who We Are, and Jake is the elephant in the room, right? And pretty much this is based off of certain dealings I've had with so-called Persians, and even a brother's testimony that he had made mention of, right? Um, Pretty much just my personal dealings with Persians, so to speak, because we really know they're Elamites, but and they go back to the Iranians. And through the spirit, we believe they're the elite of Elam, like they're the elite tribe of Elam, the so-called Iranians and Persians, right? And pretty much they're on a certain level. You can kind of par with them. Them lower class Elamites, you don't really like them. Like I make myself personally, I don't fuck with them, right? The Persians, they have a sense of arrogance. A lot of them. Some of them are actually all right, you know. Um, even even like when I was in school and whatnot, I had two Persian teachers, and I'd say one of them was a girl, one of them was a man. The man was an asshole. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna lie, he was just an asshole. I didn't fuck with him. The girl, she was all right. You know what I mean? But she was a bad teacher though. But she was like, personally, I didn't have no real problems with her. But when they when they looked at us, they knew who we were, you know, whether we knew who they were or not, right? But at the time, I was aware, because this is when I was in like university, college, or whatever, and I was aware of the truth then. This was years ago, but I was aware of who they were. At the end of the day, I knew they were heathens, so I'm looking at them as heathens, and they're my enemies, right? Because Israel, we have a lot of enemies, right? Fast forward into my life, I've worked with Persians. Currently, you know what I mean? Like I work with Persians, and some of them are actually all right. Some of them are cool. Some of them you can actually talk to. They hold it down, but they still give off that look like, there's something about you, and you must really not know who you are, right? But I know who I am. You get what I'm trying to say? I even had certain people that come to me and start venting about their life, telling me all their personal life and all these things, you know? And it's all spiritual anyways, right? But just to show you that, some of them, they're on on a certain level, like they're all right. You know what I mean? But they still give you that look like you must not know who you are, do you? Right? And they know, like I said, they know who we are. It's just you Israelites, you don't know who you are. And that's why I also titled this video Jake is the elephant in the room, right? Because at the end of the day, you don't know who you are, man. Uh, let's see. Isaiah 1 and 3. The ox knoweth his owner, and his ass his master's crib, but Israel doth not know. My people doth not consider. So, right, we don't consider that we are the Israelites that the Bible speaks of. Let's see what it says in the NLT. Give it a little refresh real quick. NLT, Press play. It says, even an ox knows its owner, and a donkey recognizes its master's care. But Israel doesn't know its master. My people don't recognize my care for them. Right. And our people don't understand that we actually are the Israelites, the biblical Israelites, um, according to what the Bible speaks of, man. And this is one of the major, I feel like this is one of the major indicators to know you're an Israelite, man. And there's so much more scriptures, but like this one really stood out to me the most, going into Deuteronomy 28 and 15. I'm not gonna read all of this. There's a certain one that sticks out the most. Not to say they don't, none of them don't, but I feel like this one sticks out the most to me, you know? And it says, Deuteronomy 28:68, the last verse in the chapter, the Lord Yahweh will send you back to Egypt in ships. All right, this is Moses prophesying to the Israelites. All right, so even Moses was aware of this prophecy, man. Obviously, he was the voice of Yahweh at the time. And Egypt is synonymous for bondage, so slavery. So the Lord said He will send you back into slavery again in ships. All right, when the Israelites left out of Egypt the first time, they walked out of it. All right, they didn't have to escape through ships, even though the Lord could have set it up that way. But the Lord parted the sea, right? So they didn't have to. All right. Then the Lord Yahweh will send you back to Egypt in ships to a destination. Salaki, I'm in the NLT right now. I want to go back to KJV. But anyways, I'll read it in the NLT and go back to KJV. Then the Lord will send you back to Egypt in ships to a destination I promise you would never see again. There you'll offer to sell yourselves to your enemy. Okay, see, they got it wrong here. But we didn't sell ourselves to your enemies as slaves, but no one will buy you, right? But in a sense, he did have Jake selling Jakes into slavery, right? But we know what they're trying to do here. Oh, we were just down on our luck, so fuck it. We have nothing going on for ourselves. That's why they're trying to push it in the NLT. So fuck it, I'll just sell myself into slavery. No, that's not what happened. Okay, but you did have Israelites selling other Israelites into slavery. Okay, and that's why at the end of the day, everybody went into slavery. I don't give a fuck, right? All Israelites are in captivity. All Israelites are in slavery. Okay, a lot of you West Coast Jakes, you feel that West Coast of Africa Jakes, and wherever you Israelites are spread on the continent of Africa, you feel that you're better than the Israelites that got sent away to the Western Hemisphere, right? But the Lord has the continent of Africa and the Israelites there in hell, man. Okay, a lot of you Israelites in Africa are living in hell. Okay, the Esau Edom still colonized your ass, put your ass in slavery, and you're subject to this devil. So don't be barking up thinking that you're better than your brother, man. Because like I said, everybody went into slavery. And the Lord Yahweh shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships, by the way whereof I spake unto thee. Deuteronomy 28:68. Thou shalt see it no more again. And there ye shall be sold unto your enemies for bondmen and bondwomen, and no man shall buy you. So this is the proper way, right? So NLT tried to do some slick shit, trying to say, oh, we sold our soul. The Israelites sold themselves into slavery. No, you fucking idiot. All right, so that's just the devil doing the devil work. LNC is good, but sometimes it goes off, and that's why you have to know. The spirit has to be dealing with you to know what's right and what's wrong, right? And that's why we start. Our core foundation is the KJV, right? And then we venture off into other versions of the Bible, other translations of the Bible, to further prove our point. But the KJV is the standard because it was the book that was translated from the Hebrew and the Greek, right? So this is the standard. That's what we measured on. That's how we're able to know, oh, it went off here and it went off there, right? But I bring this scripture out to ask who else went into slavery in ships, right? What other race of people went into slavery in ships? Okay? And all 12 tribes went into slavery in ships. Honestly, Northern tribe experienced that too. If anything, Northern tribe experienced it first. All right? And then Southern Kingdom experienced it. You know, they highlight the Southern Kingdom's experience more, but I'm sure, you know, I feel like the Lord will reveal what happened to the Northern Kingdom on them ships too, man. Because Esau likes to reveal only the Southern Kingdom went through that shit, you know? Black Americans, African Americans, Caribbeans, right? They only like to highlight that, right? You Haitians or whatnot. But, you know, this devil has to pay for what he's done, man. And even through all that process of slavery, right, we forgot who we were, right? Um, it goes into it right here till he had destroyed thee. So I can read up yoke of iron around thy neck. I could just type it in to be quicker. Fuck it. All right, yeah, con. So Deuteronomy 28:48, and thou shalt therefore shalt thou serve thine enemies, which the Lord Yahweh shall send against thee in hunger and in thirst and in nakedness and in want of all things, and he shall put a yoke of iron upon thy neck until he have destroyed thee. Right, and that's exactly what happened. So at first our slavery was physical and we were in chains and captive, and now, you know, the devil was able to break us so bad that, you know, he could take off the chains, and now we're just broken in the mind to where we're subject to him. And going back to my original point, now, like I said, we don't consider who we are as a people, right? And why we're in this position, why these other nations look at us in awe, and why they, you know, they look at us like, as an anomaly, right? How the fuck you know who you are? You're the greatest people on the earth. Yeah, we may have had you in captivity, but you guys did great things under our captivity, greater things than we ever did in our rulership. Cause Jake does great things. Jake does great things in their captivities, man. Right? So they just want to know, how the hell haven't you risen up and got your own kingdom and done great things in your kingdom, man? Right? So that's why they look at us like, what the fuck is wrong with these guys? And now they're just brute beasts and all that. But that's all thanks to our enemies, the so-called white man, Esau, Edom. He allows us to be degenerates. He wants us to be degenerates. That's what he'll pay you to be a degenerate. All right, to make himself feel better. But if you're doing right, if you're just, you know, trying to better yourself, right, go through his ways, right, schooling and all that weird stuff, or whatever, just normal, quote unquote, normal society stuff. He looks down on that. He makes it hard for you, right? He does a lot of things to sabotage you, all right? So these are things you got to consider, man. That's how you know we're in hell, man, because you're damned if you do and damned if you don't. But you have to do, right? You can't not don't. You can't don't, so to speak. You can't do nothing, man. You gotta work. You gotta feed yourself. You gotta provide for yourself. You gotta do what you gotta do, and that's all part of our walk, right? We gotta suffer these things. We gotta suffer the devil. We gotta suffer our enemies, right? We gotta walk. We gotta live peaceably with all men, right? These are all things that we gotta do as men, and you know it's hard. It is hard, man, but that's a part of our walk, right? Because it could be harder, it could be worse, it could be in chains, it could be, you know, messed up right now, man. You see what I'm saying? Let's get this. It's Ezra 1 and 1. Now in the first year of Cyrus, king of Persia, that the word of the Lord Yahweh by mouth of Jeremiah might be fulfilled, the Lord Yahweh stirred up the spirit of Cyrus, king of Persia, that he made a proclamation throughout all his kingdom, and put it also in writing, saying, Thus says Cyrus, king of Persia, the Lord God Yahweh of heaven hath given me all the kingdoms of the earth, and he hath charged me to build him an house at Jerusalem, which is in Judah. All right, so the Lord put Cyrus on that level, man. He's a top guy. All right, and he actually reverenced the Most High because he's considering, yeah, the Most High put me here. The God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob put me in this position. All right, he knew that. He knew it wasn't his God, but he knew that was the Most High God. However, they had other gods that they prayed to, right? And so in their mind, their other gods were still helping them be successful, right? And he also prayed to the Most High God too. A lot of these heathen nations, they prayed to the Most High God too. They just also prayed to other gods, and that's what made them heathens, right? Who is there among you of all his people? Is Yahweh be with you? His Yahweh be with him, and let him go up to Jerusalem. I'll read it again. His God Yahweh be with him, and let him go up to Jerusalem, which is in Judah, and build the house of the Lord Yahweh of Israel. He is the God which is in Jerusalem. That's right. And whosoever remaineth in any place where he sojourneth, let the men of his place help him with silver and with gold and with goods and with beasts, beside the free will offering from the house of Yahweh that is in Jerusalem. That's right. So even going into what Cyrus said, right? That the Lord put him in the position to be a ruler of all kingdoms, right? He was a heathen, right? So the Lord's fair, man. You people need to understand, man. It's all about rulership, man. You know. Let's see. Right. Psalm 75:7. But Yahweh is the judge. He putteth down one and setteth up another. Right? And that's what he does with kingdoms. Okay? That's what he does with rulers. Okay? The Lord is in control. Right? Let me read that again. But Yahweh is the judge. He putteth down one and setteth up another. Right? So that's what we gotta understand. The Lord sets people up in your life to keep you in check, man. Even if it's of the heathens. Right? The Lord don't care. The Lord don't play that. You know what I mean? And the Lord sets the heathens upon Israel, upon Jake, upon you so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans to keep you in check, man. Right? But let me go back to my point, my last scripture. Pretty much going to show, like, just because you're in captivity, the Lord has what do you call it? The Lord shows mercy in captivity. You know what I mean? And these other nations were allowed us to keep our practices and our customs. All right, we were able to keep our laws, so to speak. We weren't fully sovereign, but we were able to keep our laws. We were able to execute, judgment, so to speak, if we had to, according to the law. Right? In this society, you can only keep a certain amount of laws. Okay, you can't keep all the Most High's laws in this society, and that's where faith comes in and kicks in. Right? It's just in your mind, like, yeah, if the laws were in place, I would do this, right? And you got to be down with that, whatever the judgment is, whether it be good or bad, right? Um, You get I guess Psalms 83, and I'm gonna just end it off there. That's Psalms 2 as well. Yeah, let me get this. Psalms 2 and 1. Why do the heathen rage and the people imagine a vain thing? The kings of the earth set themselves, and the rulers take counsel together against the Lord and against his anointed. All right, who's his anointed? The Israelites. All right, the chosen people, especially starting with the elect, saying, "Let us break their bands asunder and cast away their cords from us. He that sitteth in the heavens shall laugh; the Lord shall have them in derision." All right, starting with Esau, Edom, he's plotting on us. All right, but all these nations are plotting on us, man. Moab knows who we are. All these nations know who we are, man. But they just love to see us in our down, distraught, degenerate position that we're in right now. All right, that's really what it comes down to. Okay, when they see Jake, an Israelite man, doing well for himself, being productive, man, they get threatened by that, man, because it's like, you know, he looks like an unstoppable force almost. It's like, damn, and that's the thing. It's like, we put you through all of this shit. That's what they say. We put you through all of this shit, and you still rise above. If I was a heathen, I'd be threatened too by that, man. How do you bounce back from all of this and still be great, so to speak? You know, great amongst the society, right? Not amongst like to the standards of this society, not to the standard of Yahweh Shem Shai, but brothers know what I mean. Right? How do you rise above all of these things and you become great? Right? How do you rise above slavery? How do you rise above psychological warfare? How do you rise above crack in the 80s? How do you rise above feminism, your woman turning against you? How did you rise above that? Right? How did you rise above your children turning against you, being weaponized against you? How did you rise above that? How did you rise above the V's that they pushed into you as a child all the way up, right? Where you could have been had atheism, right? A possibility of all these things. How did you rise above that, man? The spirit of the Lord had to be with you, even if you're not even in this truth. You get what I'm trying to say? The Lord still had to make His presence be known even amongst the 2/3 as well. Like, I'm great. I'm so great. I'll show my greatness in 2/3 as well. Because the Lord is far out like that, man. But what's going to be really greater than that is when the elect, right? It gets delivered out of the hands of our enemies, and they get changed. That's what's going to be one of the greatest things that's to come. Okay, because the elect on this side right now, they're not getting no credit, no shine, no recognition, so to speak. Nor do we care, right? Because we just want to do the work. But as a man, you do want credit, credit and recognition. It just is what it is. It's human nature, right? So, but we gotta wait for that. It's not a thing about self. It's not a thing about self worth and self glory. You know what I mean? But you still want to be appreciated for your works and your efforts, right? But we gotta understand that we did fuck up on our side, right? So we gotta just remain humble, man. And in due time, the Lord will give us that if we're being worthy. You see what I'm saying? So with that, I'm gonna just close up. I'm gonna say shalom, and Lord will, you're edified.